Hey,
And
good
we're
evening,
there.
everyone. We're here.
We,
We're alive.
uh,
Kind of just wait and see if anybody pops into the chat.
yeah, we'll see.
But while we're kind of waiting, congratulations on the 700 subs, my friend.
Congratulations on the 400 subs as well.
I know I should have really done this a couple of weeks ago, but I was kind of holding back because you know what YouTube's like. Sometimes when you get subs, it's like, yeah, and then the next, like
Oh
you've
yeah.
lost them.
Next day you look and it's like 5 less. Yeah, that's how it happens sometimes. Oh, we have a Ian in the chat.
Hey, Ian.
Hey man.
That's what I'm saying. I was talking to Dave earlier on, and it's like, he says, you did hit 400 like 2 weeks ago. I says, I was kind of holding back because we know sometimes it's like, oh, 400, and then next minute you end up losing one or gaining one or blah, blah, blah. So I kind of just left it to make sure that. But even though, man, I was expecting to have 400 subs, to be honest. It's kind of weird when you just start doing these things for like fun.
Mm.
Getting subs and getting likes and views is like a bonus to me. It's like you always kind of think it's like nobody's going to sit down and listen to two ass men fucking talk about toys kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how it kind of started for me as well. I made these Zords from the Power Rangers. I gave them a new paint job and I made videos of it to show my girlfriend. And she was like, "You should make videos of this and put it on YouTube." And I was in the same spot, like nobody's gonna watch that. There aren't that many Power Ranger fans alive, I
So I
thought.
just kind of when I started, and I was just kind of just showing off what stuff you found at the boot sales, and then folk were saying, "Oh, you should do lives," and it's like, no, it's not me. But then during the pandemic, it's like nighttime was boring. And it's like, Ken, what? I'll do the first one, see how it goes, kind of
Hey,
thing.
Billy. Well, beautiful.
Who's this
Well,
guest? He is
never,
beautiful.
never beard of him.
Never
Huh,
heard
Ian?
of him. He's the number one from customizers, you know. I've heard a lot of good
Yeah.
stories about him.
Yeah. Last week I customized myself, and I got rid of my beard, all for the sense of being Batman.
I know last
Yeah.
week's stream, man. Last week's stream was good, man.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun on that one last week.
I was quite tipsy at the end. I remember that.
Oh, once we were finished, man. My plan was to stay up for another couple of hours, but after that, wearing the helmet and the costume, man, it was just like that.
Oh, you
This
wore the helmet like 45 minutes or so, man.
yeah, it's longer than what I thought, kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, yeah,
I
that
don't know
was.
how, from like with the guys that do the cosplay and that, I don't know how they can keep them on all day near enough.
I have no
The
idea.
only time they take them off is probably for like a drink break or a food break kind of thing. But damn, man,
Man, I would love to cosplay like a ranger or like a Kamen Rider or something. Hell, even Darth Vader. But it's not gonna happen because in 10 minutes everything is gonna fog up, and I need to get
yeah, I was
that
actually quite
helmet off.
surprised with having that on for so long. Even though you've got like the red perspex kind of thing, I was expecting that to kind of fog up.
Mm.
But the good thing with the Lord Zed helmet is that it's got a lot of air vents around the actual mouthpiece, so
Oh,
it didn't.
that'll work.
It's like some of the helmets they only have maybe a couple, but that's got like vents all the way around it. You don't actually see when you've got the mask on. You only notice it when you're up close.
That's better than the White Ranger one because the White Ranger one it fogs up. Well, for me it fogs up, but that's just yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I got that because man, we have so much fun with that when I've got the nephew here.
I can believe that.
Even he's trying. I mean, the thing's far too big for his head, But it's so weird. It's like he's always asked. It's like I want one of those. It's like if the entertainer gets him back in for that price, then I might get him one for his birthday.
Hmm.
Was Billy saying? He's
Huh?
Batman.
I was
He's
Batman.
number one something. He's the Dutch Batman.
Dutch Batman. My voice worked for that thing then.
I just drunk a Dutch beer. Is it?
Ah, Hertog Jan.
The beer is a yummy liquid. It's only Thursday and he's drinking already, man. That's he must not be working tomorrow.
Beer is yummy liquid. I have to say.
Oh, definitely. Sorry, I'll have a few beers this weekend because I'm not back until Tuesday. So yes,
Mm.
I managed to get a couple of extra days off this week, so I'm not grumbling. Is it? It's been a hell of a week.
Oh man, tell me about it.
I am working tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Comes the whole. Because Ian's hopefully. I think Ian's coming over to your part of the woods next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah. Gonna see what we can do. Everything is hella expensive here, but inflation, right, Billy? He knows. It's the magic word.
Ian's going to visit Holland and then coming to meet up with me.
That would be nice.
Inflation? What's inflation? Fed up hearing about inflation, man.
Oh man, with everything. With some of these new toys that come that are coming out, damn, prices are just crazy. Like that thing that Hasbro was doing with that Ghost Rider.
Mm.
They just you just got for $400, I think. You got that Galactus, that enormous figure with 3 or 4 extra figures, an extra head and stuff, and they bring out like a little car of the Ghost Rider nobody wants. Maybe that's just me,
It's the
but
thing. I thought a lot of folk have been talking about that. Man, it is a cool set. Didn't get me wrong, man. The thing's amazing, but for what you're
yeah,
paying for it, it's not technically worth what you're getting.
nah. Especially not if you put Galactus beside of it.
Well, you think about it, man. They done the Ghost Rider with a bike. The I think it was like the space version of the Ghost Rider that you got the bike and you got the figure. And I think you only paid about maybe $60 or $70 for that.
Yeah.
So I can understand, man, a 6-inch car would be awesome to have to display with your figures, but good if they'd done something like that separate, like a vehicle separate. I mean, I know we've talked about like with the Lightning Collection, they've done
Mm,
a few like with the was it In Space Blue. They went
yeah.
and released him, and then they went and released them with the glider. I mean, they could technically do like a pack, a weapon pack kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah. They can do that in any line, I guess.
But then if you're kind of good at customizing and even getting what scale would you say that like the scale for the Ghost Rider car, you could easily customize one.
If you know, yeah.
Yeah.
If you know the scale and you're good with like
Mm.
milliput and stuff like that, you could come a long way with that. Yeah.
It's like yourself, man, with all the customs that you've kind of come up with, but it's because we're kind of been talking about a lot of custom stuff. Some of the custom figures that you've come up with, man, it's like it's crazy, but what you've done with them, and you wouldn't think that that was the original body.
No.
Like the Domino one, man, I love the Domino body that you done for Aisha.
Oh
That's
yeah. That
the
one
bits and
works
pieces that
so
you've
well.
added onto that, man. But then
They can
again, if
just
it wasn't for meeting you and watching your videos and then talking to you for like the last year about customizing, I wouldn't have thought about doing the figures that I've done.
Mm.
I ken mines are not as much detail as what you've done when you've spent hours and days getting them, but I was so happy when that Harley Quinn Stormtrooper come out the way I wanted it.
Oh yeah, yeah, but that worked out well. Oh
And then
my,
doing like the other little bits and bobs, like the Cyclops thing that I picked up for the charity shop that had
Mm.
no paint on it, and then now that's about
Yeah,
90% finished, near enough. Still got a couple of little bits to do, and then now I'm working on the Harley Quinn chariot. I'm still kind of messing about with it because I've got majority of the paint done. I'm just kind of doing the details, and I keep thinking of things to add to it.
Mm.
I don't know, just to put the legs back onto it, or I keep checking the charity shops for like monster trucks.
Mm.
So I was actually thinking about putting wheels on it, make it
Yeah,
more.
like I said, you really
But
should. That will work. That will work out perfectly. Billy is talking about the Cobra Kai figures a few minutes ago, I guess.
I've not,
Yeah.
I've not actually seen those, to be honest.
Be
I
glad
know
they are bad.
they've done the crossover with the turtle ones, and the Cobra Kai ones look good, but the turtle ones don't look that. They look a bit cheaply made. Those the turtle figures for that.
Yeah? Okay, I've never seen the turtles for real. I
The
have the
one
Shredder one, but
the one toy line I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping, I can't remember if it comes out at the end of this year or if it's sometime next year. And I did a silly thing yesterday, and I went and pre-ordered a couple. I don't usually pre-order, but I had to pre-order these, and
what did you?
it's the 80s Dungeons and Dragons figures.
Oh, those. Okay.
Because we never really got proper figures back in the
I
day. The
know
ones that come out were more like
statue
they're more
thingies
like
from
little statues kind
Sweden.
of thing. So I've pre-ordered a couple of them.
Hmm,
So I'll be looking forward to cracking the bad boys open just to see what they're like.
I can understand that. Now these Cobra Kai figures, it's basically I haven't seen the show. Sorry, so it's basically two of them, two of the guys from the show, or a girl and the guy from the show
Mhm.
with a white ninjetti outfit and a pink ninjetti outfit for the girl, and a putty patroller with like a Halloween shirt on is best what I could describe it. But don't blame me, I didn't watch the show yet, so I don't know. Maybe it's something that's from the show, or it just felt really Halloween for me. But
I know with the original Karate Kid kind of thing, when Daniel gets beaten up, man, the guys are all got like skeleton costumes on. So I don't know if they've maybe went doing that road kind of thing, done like for Halloween, done a Halloween style. I need to actually have a look at them and see what they actually. It's not a thing I would probably buy right enough, but
nah, nobody's gonna buy this. I mean, though, that Cammy and that Ken, those those customized Rangers were like, wow, how cash grabbing, I guess. It's just cash grabbing now. It's
well, you think, and it looks like they're doing it. I think they're running out of ideas. Instead of just finishing off teams, they're now going into like crossovers. Just finish off the teams.
yeah.
Give us the characters that we need to finish off our teams. Then think about doing crossover stuff.
And if you're gonna do new things, just do. I'm not one of them, but I know everyone in the Discord is always saying, "Give us turbo."
Hmm. I know Turbo doesn't have a good thing in the franchise kind of thing, but come on, give us just to finish off certain lines, man. As you say, man, we're finally getting Tara from Dino Thunder. That
Yeah.
she should have technically been out a couple of years back. So it's taken them nearly 3 years just to base. I don't know if they've done the Black Ranger yet. I don't know if they've done the Tommy for
No,
Lightning Collection yet. Because I know they've done it for the
the
Legacy line.
legacy. Yeah, the legacy line has him. No, and it's probably
So,
going to be something
but
like a
now
two
we've kind
pack.
of got we're getting like the three main characters, three main Rangers for that line. And it'll probably be another year before he comes out, kind of thing, to actual finish off. Because you've got Trent, you've got the red, you've got the blue, now we're getting yellow. All we need is Tommy just to finish that.
Yeah, and it's done. It's just strange, but like the Time Force ones as well. I know we're getting the blue one now, but
Man, I
everybody
like
wants
I love the Lightning Collection. I love the scale of them, but the way they've kind of disreputed some of the teams, it's like they've kind of jumped from one for like Mighty Morphin to say in space, and then in space to filming Zeo, and then Zeo to filming Dino Charge, and then blah blah. You think they would have like let's do the Mighty Morphin line first, get them out the road, then jump onto the next one. But it's like they're jumping back and forward between
something
series.
new and Mighty Morphin again. I
It's like
mean,
even give us some monsters from the other series,
mm,
kind of thing. I know they've done a Cliptor. I know they've done from in Astromina, but come
yeah,
on, you've got other. We've not got any monsters for Zeo, kind of thing.
I don't think we have anything else than that.
It's like I would love to see. What's his name? Master Vile. I love to see they would do that in a Lightning Collection figure, kind of thing. Because I know the original one was just a solid piece of plastic with movable arms, kind of thing, and then that little gimmick thing that is like changes his. I think it changes his face.
Cat's here.
Oh, hey, Cat. Was it? I don't understand the logic that the way they use Lightning Eye.
No, that's. I don't think there is any anymore. Just making. They're just trying to see what sticks. Mighty
And you know,
Morphin
some
for
places
sure.
now kind of got them on clearance as well. So it's like I'm hoping they continue it. I hope they don't cancel the line because I know that would just piss off a lot of collectors and fans.
Yeah.
Make sure they kind of complete the lines that they've got out so far.
No, they're doing that a bit, but
It would be good if I don't know what your opinion been, but it'd be good if they kind of went back like 20 years ago when Sentai first come out. I don't know if Hasbro would have the rights to some of the older Ranger teams, but it would be nice to see some of those come in into the Lightning Collection as well.
really, yeah, some of those suits, like the Die Ranger ones. No, not it's not everyone's cake, but I really like those suits. And I
So
never
some
knew
of
about
the
them.
original ones, man, they look so goofy, but and it's I like it now. It's nostalgia kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, a
So I
lot.
don't know if it was true, Rory, but I did see folk putting up pictures of the Masked Rider going to be a part of the Lightning Collection. I don't know if that
Well,
was
that,
a real or fake.
I think that was an April Fool's joke, right?
Yeah, but
Because that
even
thing,
having
it
that, I
looked
know
off, but
he was only in it like 2 episodes, but it would be nice to have a proper articulated Masked Rider, not like the ones that we got when we were kids, kind of thing.
you know, it would be nice, but I think it are those rights at Hasbro's. That's more the question right now.
So I know if I'm in like Masked Rider, that was a part of the Saban. So I don't know if everything that Saban done. I don't know if Hasbro got the rights to do it.
I mean, they quit it, so maybe they lost the rights like Marvel has and things like that.
It's like
I'm
there's
not
one
sure
storyline that
about.
I'm always hoping that they're going to redo, and that's the mask figures.
Oh yeah,
But there's like a big, it's like a conspiracy. They don't know exactly if Mask still is owned by from in
Mask was Kenner, right?
Kenner. Aye, I don't. It's like there's they don't know if it's still a part of Kenner when Hasbro basically bought Kenner over. For some reason, that's kind of like in the loop. But I would love to see like an updated version of them
Hmm.
because there was something mentioned about a movie and a series, but that was like just before the pandemic and nothing else has come out yet. So again, you don't know if it's fake news or what. But I mean, it would be good if they did an up to date series of that.
I think that was one of the first toy lines that I got a lot of toys of Mask.
Oh, it would be, man. It'd be nice to see. It'd be cool to see that in a live action.
Hmm.
It'd be very cool to see Full Mask in live action.
Yeah, guess they would update all the vehicles, but seeing a Camaro lift off will always be nice. So
And that's the thing. They'd probably for the new generation, they probably would update the vehicles slightly, but
hmm.
it's like every fandom and folk wouldn't be oh they've changed it to this and oh, they've changed this car to this car kind of thing. It's one of those weird ones.
I mean, Switchblade is gonna be a hard one now.
Oh, I would love to
Cause
see a Switchblade in live
oh yeah,
action.
but I think the concept they would use something else for that now.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause- but that thing was cool.
It's probably a quite. I mean, see, I don't even know if they did do that series and they decided to bring it. I don't know if they would actually keep the mask figures the same size as the originals, or they would update them to like a 4 inch or a 5 inch figure. But the vehicles would probably be slightly bigger as well.
They could, but I don't know. What did Billy send me? Looks. Oh no, I'm not gonna watch New Drive Force. I'm not. I'm not. I've got enough right now. Nick's just screwed the push with that post. I'm like, no, my wallet is literally gonna leave me
Well,
because
we now
every
have a. We did used to have a HMV in our local town. It shut down years ago, but it's now reopened back up. And I was in there. It opened back up last Friday, and I went in there just to see because I've seen a lot of folk gone in there doing like their haul videos and showing off what they got. I'm not joking. That's kind of dangerous. There was one
oh,
figure I did see in there last week, but only thing it's 150 quid for this. But it's
well,
the new. They've got the. Oh, what the is it? Boss. They've got the Boss Studio. Um, what's his name? Goro.
oh,
As like if that's still there in December, that's coming home. That's definitely coming home.
we're talking Mortal Kombat, right?
Oh yes,
Oh,
that figure looks sick as fuck, man.
oh, it is. It is cool, like the one from the movie, or
I think it's I think it is because they've also got I can't remember what his name is, but he's like the oh he's from
they
Mortal Kombat 2 movie. It's like the horse guy.
Hmm.
I can't remember what his name is.
Motoro?
That's it. They've got him in as well. Man, I've only seen pictures and other folk reviewing it, but when you see that in hand, man, damn, that is one sexy fucking figure. But Boss Studios have done. They are expensive, Rory, but man, they've done them right.
Okay. Oh, hey Shanti. See you too.
Hey, Vadertron.
And Vadertron.
Well, we've kind of blethered for like 20 minutes, so is there anything you want to show off this week?
Well, I finally got that zombie buckle for the new Geats driver.
Oh, nice.
Show that thing off.
I'll put you on the big screen so everybody can see a
Yeah.
lovely smiley face.
So this is the driver for Geats, the new Kamen Rider series. You can just click all kinds of stuff on.
Hey, Duffman.
And that's the zombie buckle that I talked about.
That's quite cool, that like. Oh, hey, Rolando.
Hey, Rolando. So, soul transformation. I really like these new drivers, but I'm just really afraid of all the things they're gonna put out for this stuff.
Well, you think about it, within like 3 months, you managed to get near enough a full set of the 01 stuff. So,
oh yeah.
This is kind of a bit. This is a bit dangerous for you, Rory.
Yeah, it is. I
Man,
think everything that came out I have already. So,
and it doesn't help that Billy and Nick and all that are posting pictures in Discord saying, "Oh, you need to get this and you need to get."
Oh man.
It's like Mike keeps tagging me in like the He-Man stuff and the Thundercat stuff, man, and Big Bag Toy Store. And it's like, damn, I really want them, but I know for a fact that it'd be a ton of them and custom tax on that, like.
Oh, with so much of those things, mate.
It's like the only reason I went to like HMV because I wanted to see if they had the gargoyles figures in.
Ah, yeah.
But I never seen them there, but they've got them on their site, so I'm kind of tempted to buy one.
And which one?
That's the thing.
Goliath?
I'd probably have to be Goliath, and then I'd probably buy Bronx. Because if you
they
get
got Bronx now too.
They've brought Bronx out. If they get Bronx, it gives you the cape that you can actually, like, his wings are actually folded. Like
seriously, is it gonna be like this? Oh.
So if you buy Bronx, you're getting you can basically take his massive wings off, and it'd be easier display kind of thing.
So they kind of listened to the fans because the fans wanted that,
but even Bronx, man, that's one fucking sexy figure. If I'm going to buy the gargoyles, it would have to be they two.
Bronx was like the dog, right?
Yeah. So he comes with a like other set of wings for Goliath. Because if you see the one that Mike's got him in, it's a good figure. The only thing that kind of puts me off is the wingspan. You can't even fold the wings down. So if you've only got limited space, he would probably take up one shelving unit just on his own.
I think Mike has that one, right?
Yeah.
You all right, Buzz?
Hey, Nick.
Hello, Shadow Wiz.
Hey.
I'm afraid. Sorry, what's your first name? Sorry, fella.
Rory.
Rory. Nice, excellent. How are you, Rory? You good, man?
for sure. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. This is a far more relaxed stream for me this evening. I'm just come on my phone because after I had my front room turned over. Yes, I did a stream yesterday. And my front room turned over. The wife was kicked upstairs. Not kicked. I'm not a woman beater. She was upstairs, and so I thought I'd pop on and just be a little bit more chill tonight and just have a chat. So if I look like I'm lazing on my sofa, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, the stream, your first stream last night was good. I
Cheers,
really
mate. Look,
enjoyed it.
so
But
many
your first
technical
stream's
issues.
always the first one's always the one that something could happen kind of thing. I know you had a couple of mishaps last night, but it was still good.
Yeah, I mean that there was the mishaps on my part of doing things like launching the intro stream, the intro screen midway through. I don't even know how I did that. Hey Vader's girl, you all right, mate? You all right, Cap? And then there was all the internet lag, but I feel slightly better today knowing Scarif After Dark. Hello. I feel slightly better today knowing that there was actually a fault in the village last night on the internet because they were out repairing some of it today. So at least, hopefully, if I do another stream, well, I've got one coming up in a month or so. Hopefully, it will run a lot smoother than last night's did. But hopefully, everyone enjoyed it, and hopefully, everyone liked the surprise guest we chucked in there last minute. That's the main thing.
Oh, it's good, man. It kind of gives you a little bit of information on Action Man kind of thing. So folk that don't really know much about Action Man, it was kind of interesting on some of the topics that you kind of come across. So it was interesting.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Alan Dawson is a walking encyclopedia of Action Man, and of course, VTR Dave, he's super knowledgeable. And then to bring in Bob Breakin, the hand of Bob, the designer from Palatoy, was just the cherry on top. But unfortunately, we couldn't announce it to last minute because Bob wasn't sure if he could make it on the stream or not until it was very touch and go because Bob had a few things going on in the background. So Bob didn't want us to announce he was coming on, only to have to tell us last second that he couldn't come on. But
Well, that was
I
last
think
weekend, Nick. We went to Charity Shop and they had a ton of them in 90s Action Men.
oh, they're 10 a penny, mate. They're 10 a penny.
So my nephew picked up a couple. He picked up one of the Eagle Eyes ones for 96.
Excellent. I need to get a new head for mine.
Like the ninja from Man Suit On.
There were a few ninjas in the 90s range.
He picked up the one with the black suit, and then there was the one with like a proper karate kind of two-piece suit.
Has he got a red arm with a spinning wrist where you turn it and then you press a button and it spins? Oh, that's the one I had. I always really liked that. The only thing I didn't like about it was where the 90s Action Men used to sort of have fixed features on them.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty limited to that. Unlike, sorry, I'm not trying to turn your stream into another Action Man stream.
No.
I think everyone had enough of that last night.
I was trying to borrow them off him for tonight to show off what we all found kind of thing, but it's like, no, he wouldn't have let me.
Oh no, I mean, there is some money in 90s Action Men, but you tend to have a boxed example still sealed. The loose ones missing bits. I mean, a loose 90s Action Man will run you about £2-3 in a charity shop, whereas a loose unclothed vintage Action Man you could be paying anything between 25 to 50 quid dependent on the version of it. So
well, the ones that he got last week, I think they cost them £3 each. So
yeah, that's pretty reasonable. I mean, I've got loads. I've still got a few childhood ones, but of course, my littling Jax, my little boy, he doesn't care what era it's from. And if you can go into a charity shop and he can pick up a figure for 2 or 3 quid like you do with your nephew, it's easy. It keeps them quiet, and they're not trashing your toys when you're buying them their own.
Well, when you messaged me say that you might pop on, it's like, I ain't looked this guy out. I don't know if you have this one in your collection, but I've got one of the smallest.
I don't. He is cool. I don't have him. What I do have is I have a miniature G.I. Joe version, which is slightly more accurate. I picked it up at an Action Man show in North Weald, and the guy who sold it to me was actually I can never remember his name. He was on the Vectus auction show, while back, but he was one of the chief. He was the Bob Breakin of his day in Modern Action Men, and I remember having a bit of a back and forth with him, negotiating the price on it, because I wanted to buy a figure he had, which was beat to shit. Sorry, excuse my language, which was beat to hell, and I think he just got sick of me and then thought, just let him have it for that price because I don't want to talk to him anymore.
Well, that's the best way to come in and get prices. Then just keep nagging them until they give you the price that you want.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The thing is, the things he was selling, I was in a room full of other things of the same value or whatnot, so that there was no point. I'm notoriously tight, and I have found patience and being tight is the absolute key to getting your collection. I mean, mind you, I have just dropped 140 quid on something which I haven't got in hand yet, but if you want to know what it is, I'm happy to tell you what I've just bought.
Another Action Man.
Nope.
Star
Wars.
Star Wars.
Little bit beaten up, but for the price I got it for, and it's not in that bad a condition, I picked up a blue snaggletooth
Oh, nice.
for 140 quid.
Oh, that's definitely a bargain.
That was one of the chaps on Twitter. So in one of the groups we're in, and it all started because I was looking for reproduction SLC one, and no one had one. And then I got a message saying, "Look, it's more than you want to spend. This is a little bit beaten up. It's not too bad. I mean, it's certainly not an 85% graded figure. It's got play to it. It's worn. It's a little bit loose in places, but can still stand." I thought, you know what? It was $150, so the conversion plus I paid goods and services, not because I didn't trust the seller, because I got all the seller's excellent and he's very well respected, but it was just to insure me overseas.
Aye.
And then so I thought, well, it's not fair to make him absorb that cost. So I think I put an extra £7.50 on top of it just to cover it, which is well worth doing. And then I got a message from Dave at Toy Ploy saying, you know, you wanted an SLC blue snag. I've got one for you.
Hey, G-Force.
But it's fine that he's got that for me, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to buy an acrylic case for the vintage one, and I'm going to display. I know he never came on a car back. He was in the Sears exclusive set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the custom card back, displaying him in there in an acrylic case, but display the SLC one next to him, so you can see the vintage one, which is a bit loved and worn. But then there's, albeit not vintage, you'll be able to see a clean, crisp example of what you would have had. And I will display. I will put, because I'm a bit anal like this, I will put a little tag saying Kenner and a little tag saying SLC. Because that's just my way. I'm noticing as I get older, I'm becoming more and more fussy with things, and things being just so.
Well, I know Rory just showed some bits off that he picked up, so I'm going to show off what we got at the weekend. So between me and my nephew, we managed to find this big, massive bag with like about 30, maybe 40 figures in it. So I took out ones that I wanted, and he got the rest. So managed to find enough mint fucking April O'Neil.
Is that the second edition one? Because slightly different paintwork on the overalls, or is it the first one? I can't remember. My brain goes to mush with turtles.
Sure, I really need to do the only reason I wanted this one is because it's the first one I've actually seen at the turtle.
Oh mate, she's immaculate. So go on then. What did you pay for that? 10 pence, knowing you?
No, there was one of the chat shops we went to. They were selling this big bag of figures for like £3. The majority of them was like all your like lanyard stuff. And that's what my nephew was into. There was a few Marvel figures in it. There was a couple of like 90s Marvel figures I've already got, so my nephew was quite happy to take them.
Nice.
But majority it was was mainly like the more modern lanyard figures kind of thing.
You more than made your money back on April O'Neil alone.
So I pinched that one off him. and then also pinched this guy off him.
Ah, Green Goblin. Is it Green Goblin? Hobgoblin?
That's what me and Rory was trying to think. We kind of couldn't remember if that was the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin.
Looking at the colors, I would say Green Goblin, but
because this is for 90. This is for 2003. Yeah.
I mean, any which way, that's cool. That will look good on any display.
yeah.
Kind of like another bonus was finding a insect in your pocket.
I remember those.
But the weird things is like he says, "Oh, you can have this one because I know you like Joker."
Oh, that's from the Fisher Price line of toys.
Yeah. I do have a couple of variants of him, but
mate, to be fair, they're cool, and that's not going to hurt. I tell you what, that would look good stood next to is one of the '89 Batman Jokers from the movie. That would look awesome next to that.
And then these were also in the bag as well. And I do like my minifigs.
I can't say as I've ever seen that before, but
no, I've never heard
cool.
of these. These are tried Smeagol's or something. But I thought that was great. I thought this one was quite cool because it's
a taco.
It's meant to be a taco.
It's a Mexican wrestler.
And then you've also got like a sumo guy that looks like a rice ball.
Oh, ace.
And you got like a can of soda or tin of beer, but it's like a tank. And I'm not too sure if this is meant to be a sandwich or a cake.
I reckon that might. Do you know what? I'm going to say a sandwich because it's got a club in its hand, and I reckon that it's a play on the term club sandwich.
Yeah, got,
that's a good one.
A hot dog with nunchucks.
Nice.
And then a little pizza guy.
That is cool.
And you got I was assuming, I think these must be like wrestlers or something. Or meant to be something.
Yeah.
I reckon so.
And then I found this.
Another one of those duckies.
Yeah. But this one's Tiny Tina meant to be. From Borderlands.
That is fun.
And then the one item the only thing I picked up from the boot sale on Saturday was this.
Oh, is that the honky tonk? Oh, it is the honky tonk man. I can see it on the front. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying because the light's falling. It's a bit glary.
I'll tell you what, that's cool.
The box is a bit like beaten up in that, but I can't leave it, man.
So how much did that set you back, Baz?
That was £4 for that.
Bargain. How do you do it? Every week I say this to you.
Yeah, that's the big thing, the secret. He always
just the right place, right time, I believe.
But you're always in the right place and always at the right time. So there's me just chilling out like Jabba the Hutt there, leaning across.
It must have took us about 6 different charity shops to find anything decent.
The problem with the charity shops in my town is there's a couple of young volunteers in there, and I kind of want them to piss off because I think what they actually do is they know that there's a little bit of value in stuff, and I'm sure they take all the good shit out and eBay it.
Oh yeah.
Well, a couple of the charity shops we went in that we normally go into, I have noticed over the last couple of weeks they've slightly put their prices up on certain things.
We said the same on Saturday. I took Jackson around. The first thing I laughed in the shop, and the guy behind the counter gave me a filthy look. They had a copy of Crash Bandicoot 3 Platinum Edition for the PS1. The case was beat to shreds and the leaflet was ripped up, and they wanted £12 for it. And I was like, these people playing at. But all the little things like little cars. Jacks will often go in, and you used to be able to pick up like a toy car for 50p and whatnot, and they had little like old Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars, nothing special in there, beat to hell. They wanted like £2.5, £3 a car, and I was like, I'm not paying that. But then I guess the thing is, their utility bills have gone up like everyone else's have, so I guess they've got to try and keep the doors open, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because I noticed some of the stuff that you could pick up easily, especially like some of like the Titan superheroes, like Superman and all that.
Sorry, Baz, is Shanti offering to come on and do the strawberry trick with that comment?
Oh.
I don't know if that's what she's getting at.
Yeah.
But I noticed like some of the Titan figures, like the superhero ones, you used to be able to pick them up for £1 at the charity shop. Now they're wanting like £4 or £5 for them.
And I'm pretty sure that in my town, it doesn't stand to reason that through the last 5-6 years of going to charity shops in my town that I've not seen one vintage Action Man thing, because everyone else I know in the collecting scene have all had a magical find, but I've not had one. And I've got a friend who lives in Weymouth, just down the road from me, and they straight up told him that they've got a collector who comes in and buys any Action Man stuff off of them, and I think it's a bit bloody unfair to the general passers-by, isn't it? But then I guess if they've got a guaranteed sell, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Right. Hey,
I guarantee you that must go straight on eBay and flips them, though.
Is that a taco food? I honestly don't. I do like. That's kind of one of my weaknesses, man. I do like weird toy lines, and when you see something you're not sure about, you end up picking them up anyway. I need to do some research on these to see exactly what these actually are. Pizza. What is it? Baz gets those deals because he's made from the finest. He's been watching too much of Salacious. Unfortunately, I have no strawberries in my fridge. I think that answers your question, Nick.
I just wonder because I think nerds across the land all had a mini heart attack when she did that video.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Oh, so I'm doing this stream on my phone tonight, and it's really annoying because to see the comments, I have to physically pull them up on the screen rather than having them to the side of the what we're seeing.
No, to answer Kincaid's question, Chris was meant to be on tonight, but he forgot when we were talking about the stream yesterday. He's like, yeah, fine, all good. And he realizes that he's up at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning because him and his dad's got an adventure day kind of thing in Manchester. So he completely forgot all about it, and it wasn't until like 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night. He's like, message like, I might not be able to do it. He said, if I can get on, I'll get on. So I said, I need to be up at the crack of dawn. I say, if you can come on, come on. If you can't, it doesn't matter, man.
No, if he's got to be, I mean, I know whereabouts he lives, and Manchester's a hell of a drive for him. Hell of a drive. Mark the Eagle. Sorry, that's the other thing with being on my phone is because I'm too stubborn to put my glasses on because I some people suit glasses. Baz, you suit glasses. I just look. Oh, you've already sworn on the stream. It's fine. I just look like a massive penis when I put glasses on.
Same for me. That's why I wear contacts. Because.
Oh, literally,
Chris was meant to come on tonight, but it was all up for it because we were talking about it yesterday, and it wasn't until tonight. His dad must have mentioned, goes, remember, we've got to leave early in the morning. But, oh, shit.
I keep threatening. I was chatting to my friend Odette today, or Miss Detty, and I think one day what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do a stream, and I'm going to have to drag her into it because she was talking to me today, and I was like seeing all the people in the thing, and she's like, I could never do that. It's like, You could if I give you a link and not tell you what it's about. You end up in the stream. But yeah, so anyway, so the point of your stream is the 400 sub stream, isn't it?
Yeah.
But man, we're kind of talking about that at the beginning just for a slight bit, and then we kind of got distracted. But
it's all good. We can mention it again. That's mate, it's awesome.
the thing about
400
man,
subs, that's really good
I started
stuff.
this off as fun, Nick, kind of thing. Just during the pandemic, night times, you were bored, nothing on the TV. Folk kept saying to me, "It's all you should do live. You do live," and it's like, nah, it's not for me, kind of thing. And then one Saturday night, I just came like, fuck it, did it. But I know, like last year, I hit 200 subs by Christmas last year, and I wasn't expecting that. And then technically, I did hit 400 subs like 2 weeks ago, but we know what YouTube's like. The new is like, it says you hit 400, and then you go and check it like the next day, and you've lost like 2 or 3 subs.
Oh, absolutely. I think I hit last week. I just crossed the 200 mark, and it's gone up to. I've picked up 43 subs this week, which I'm surprised by. But I didn't say anything to anyone until I didn't say anything about getting 200 subs until I actually had about 210 subs, because I thought I know what will happen.
Who's this? It's almost strawberry season here in Florida, so I go to. Oh, nice.
See, when I read Miami, all I can think of is Dexter, and that's just ingrained in my brain. Dexter looks like a lovely place to live, apart from all the murders that they tell you happen in the fictional shows.
Yeah, that's making the. Yeah, hopefully that's me caught with a chat of the new. It's like I said, man, I wasn't expecting to have 400 subs, man. I only do this for fun, like getting subs and getting views and likes. That's a bonus for me. As you say, we kind of do this for a bit of fun. Do it to keep our minds at rest with all the work life and family life that we've got, kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, APD wasn't start. I'm not doing APD to become YouTube famous or make money or anything. I'm doing it because I'm a bit of a knob who likes to talk a lot, and I've got nervous energy I need to burn. So here I am.
With the 400 subs is, I've only got to this stage because of you guys, kind of thing. There must be something I'm doing right that you keep coming back every week and watching us and
you're genuine. I think the thing is you're genuine, mate, and because you're genuine, we're drawn into it. There's nothing false about you. There's no, hi, did you see Michael French's video the other day where he took the piss out of stuff going on? And he's got this bit, he did a video saying thank you for all the new subs because he crossed 110,000 subscribers, and then he did a bit on the end saying this is what retro blasting is not. And there's a bit on it where he goes, Hi, I'm Awesome Mike from Awesome Mike's channel of awesomeness, and we're going to talk about something awesome. It's, you know, if you're genuine in yourself, people will like you and they will come back to you time and time again. But if it's a bit false,
it's like the thing that gets kind of me is that man, it's probably it'll be coming up for nearly 2 years. Fade started properly doing the YouTube. I mean, I had a YouTube channel years ago, but never done anything with it. It's only been in the last couple of years that I've started doing stuff. But then if I didn't start doing it, I wouldn't have met yourself, I wouldn't have met Shabby, I wouldn't have met G-Force, I wouldn't have met Shanty, Josh, you name it. I probably wouldn't have met Rory at some point, kind of thing. If it wasn't for Chris and that.
Yeah.
Because I know I've known Chris longer and Rory and Billy and all that kind of thing. But as I say, we're more like family, Rory, aren't we? We kind of look out for each other. If anybody's doing, we try and help them out. And it's the same in it's the same in the monkey lizard thingy. We all help each other out. If anybody's doing, we all try and cheer everybody up. I know I've had a couple of, last month was a bad month for me because I lost my papa this month, the beginning of this month, my papa died last year, and then it was one of my friends that was their 2-year anniversary for he passed kind of thing. So you'll have your ups and your downs kind of thing, but
absolutely.
there's no. You want to see.
But you've taken that pain and that hurt and upset
Right.
and whatnot, and you've put it into something positive, which has
What?
in turn lifted you up and kept you
It's
on,
like I
on a
always
good
say
level.
that when I talk about my papa, man, he's my granddad, but I've always cried on papa when I was a kid, so it's kind of always stuck with me. So a lot of folk always ask us, like, why'd you cry on papa? I says, it's just a thing that started when we were kids and it just continued. But my papa was the guy that got me into collecting, because he collected a lot. He was a bus driver for nearly 40 odd years before he had his stroke and he had to gear up. But he used to collect all the old corgi buses.
Mm-hmm.
So when you used to go to his and you seen all the thingies, it kind of fascinated you. And then he was the person that took us to boot sales when we were younger. So to me, he was the guy that got me into the collecting what I'm collecting now. And there's a few things that I got from the boot sales back when I was a kid that I got due to him. And those are more nostalgia things for me. Those are things that I'll never get rid of. And I've always said if anything does happen, touch wood, nothing does, I says they're getting buried with me. They're going to nobody.
Well, as long as it's buried and not cremated, Baz, because you'll put a hole in the ozone layer with that much plastic burning.
But the also reason that we're doing this live stream tonight is because a good friend Rory above her, he's just hit his 700 subs.
Yeah.
As
Hey,
well.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Well done on that, man.
His channels kind of went through. It's the same in me over the last couple of months. Nick, my channels kind of blew up. I wasn't expecting to have 400 subs. Fucking 6 months ago, I wouldn't have thought the time December come I would have 400. Rory's channels kind of done the same. His channels kind of blew up in the last month as well. Because the last time he checked, he was only on. He just hit 500. Now he's up to 700. So,
I mean, maybe it's good times for YouTube at the moment. Because I mean, I've picked up 42 subs in the last week, 10 days. The hell's that come from? I have to say, Shanti's just devastated me. She just said that the Dexter's apartment was filmed in Miami. The rest of it was filmed, I think she said California, and it looks nothing like Miami. So that's ruined the show for me.
Yep.
So they're all on about.
I eat strawberries in a strange way, so eat them. Oh, Christ almighty.
I think everybody saw that.
But there's been some weird things with YouTube in the last, as I say, week, 10 days. I've been playing around with shorts a little bit, and I went on a pumpkin patch hunt thing with Jax, and I did a little short of this pumpkin they put in the field, and they made a scarecrow out of pumpkins, and it looked like with the pumpkin it looked like he was mooning everybody. I put that on YouTube, I think it's called it Pumpkin Patch Hunting with APD. 14,500 views in like an hour. I was like, why the fucking hell do I put all this effort into trying to write and do stuff when I can put a stupid little shot? Granted, it doesn't count towards your hours, but you think, Kai, I rush around, I get guests, I plan for, I mean, all right, my videos aren't exactly high tech, they're really not, but given the technical limitations I've got and the fact I'm a complete dinlow when it comes to technology, as you all saw last night, you know, I put all that effort in, and I record a 10-second clip on my phone, and 14,500 views in like an hour. What the?
It's like shorts are weird, because when we constantly talk about shorts in the Discord, and some folks say, "Oh, I've put shorts up, they don't do well," and you put shorts up, Baz, and they're hitting like 500 views, 1,000 views, 3,000 views. It's like, I think it just depends on what folk are typing up or searching for.
I tell you what,
if your short comes up
I'm going to do something for you now, which I'm hoping this is going to send your stream viral, because I've got something in this front room, and every time it appears in a short with one of my toys, it literally does about 5,000 views. I'm going to go get him.
Oh. Why do I? Yeah, animal. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Ozzy.
Mochi, do your best.
So this is Ozzy the cat. This is my cat, and every time I've put him in a couple of shorts, knocking toys over and things. You all right, monkey? You want to go? Are you camera shy for the first time in your life? Don't show your bum to YouTube.
The Star Wars stuff, Star Wars figures.
And for whatever reason, if he appears in a short, because again, I was just playing around with him. If he appears in a short, I get loads and loads of Russian and Chinese people commenting as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's YouTube gold. He should have his own channel. I tell you what, he'd be pulling in.
It's usually if I put a certain shot out and it's got certain things in it, majority of the time folk are asking like, where did you get them? I've been looking for them for ages. And in the minute you see you get it from a certain place in the UK, it's like, oh, I'm from the States. We never had these kind of thing. It's like, well, you probably did have them at some point, but they maybe never sold. Right? It's like, because I've done one way like Stormtroopers, and I've got a couple of done a Black Series thing but it was basically I tiled it wrong. I put Stormtroopers on, and then somebody commented, it's like, they're no Stormtroopers. You've got Stormtroopers, you've got a Mandalorian, and you've got thing. And it's like, I wasn't thinking. It was just, and then you get somebody else. It's like, oh, where did you get? What's his name? Because I've got a card. They've got a kided one. Oh, Blay. I'm not too sure. You think it's Commander Blay. So, oh, where did you get him? And I said, oh, I only paid like £5 for him. He's like, what?
I went to Asda the other day and picked up the Mandalorian retro collection figures, the last two, and they were buried right back. So I picked up Apollo Creed, and so I can never remember his name, but it's the guy who played Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers.
I was going to say that's Moff Gideon, but no, that's the other guy.
Yeah, and the other one who I just call Annoying Ugnaught because he has spoken. I tell you what, if he was my mate and he kept saying I've spoken, I'd go. I'd have to kick him in the head. I don't know. He's so annoying. But yeah, so I got those. I think I got them for £3.10 each, and I was going to put them in my collection and open them up, but then I thought, you know what, Jax loves anything Star Wars at the moment, so for £3.10 each, they've gone in the Christmas box and they'll go in his stocking. So Christmas morning, when me and the missus want to actually try and at least stay in bed till 4:30 in the morning before he gets up with excitement, he can play Star Wars for a bit. But there's been so many cool bargains out there at the moment. I don't know about you when you look around, and it's a bit off subject, but it's all to do with toys. I tend to find now I look through the year for all the little bargains that are being reduced in places like Asda and Home Bargains to get Jackson's presents.
I've only seen a couple of episodes of that, so what I've seen looks really good for that Tales of the Jedi.
Do you know what? Tales of the Jedi, this is how out of sync I am with everything. I didn't know it existed. I knew nothing about it until I saw something going on in the chat group I'm in and people were raving about it. And I was like, oh, cool. I haven't even watched Andor yet, but everyone's raving about Andor and they're raving about Tales of the Jedi. So hopefully I've got some good stuff to watch.
I think a lot of folk, what I've read online kind of thing, a lot of folk are complaining that it's only 15 minutes. But you didn't really need to have a lot in that 15 minutes. There is a lot going on in that 15 minutes. I don't know why folk are kind of dissing it because it's only a 15 minutes episode. But what I've seen, it's really
I
good.
haven't seen any, but from what I can pick up from what people are saying, it's just to fill in a bit of backstory on characters. Right. So 15 minutes is where do you draw the line? Because if people the thing is, what Disney. All right, I'm no what's her name, Kathleen Kennedy or whatever she's called. I don't know how they make decisions at Disney, but I imagine if there's enough buzz about any short in particular, any well, not shorts because we were talking shorts. If there's enough buzz about any of these Tales of the Jedi, it's probably a clever way of seeing if there's potential for something more from it. I would imagine if they can look into doing a series, because someone said that they've done one on Count Dooku.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen a
I mean,
few, but not that one. But
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm more a sort of there's 3 Star Wars films kind of guy, and
Both
and a
Englands.
but of the prequel trilogy, Count Dooku was one of the characters who I really liked. So I'd love it if Disney said we're going to do a series on him or something. I mean, obviously you can't cast Christopher Lee now, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we're doing fine with Ewan McGregor, and he's certainly not Alec Guinness, is he? So it'd be interesting. I mean,
It's like with the Tales of the Jedi. It's like they could easily do. I know they've done it in animation style, but I mean they could easily do that in live action as well. Could make a full series with that.
all right. So I didn't even know that it was animation style. I know nothing about it other than its little snippets looking about more details of the life of the
It's
characters
like with
shown
Star
in it.
Wars, and they could delve into some of the backstories on certain characters as well. I mean, I would love them to go right back to when, oh fuck, his name's just went right in my fucking head. Darth
one?
Bane, like with Darth Bane and all that, man. Tell us the story of them kind of thing, and it's like the Knights of the Old Republic, the computer
Oh
game,
yeah,
the PC
include
game.
Revan.
I would love like them to do a live action version of that. If they couldn't do a live action, do like an anime style, just so you get the backstory and how he become.
I wouldn't mind seeing anything like that. I mean, I know I just said for me, Star Wars is more a free film kind of thing, but
You know,
what I've done is in my head I've compartmentalized it now. So there's Star Wars, the Holy Trilogy, that's Star Wars, and all this other stuff. I'm just almost treating it like a multiverse sort of thing, and it's great because I don't look at, and I know it is continuity in that, but I just think if I separate it in my brain, it protects the memory of Star Wars for me. But then I could got all this other stuff, which, let's be fair, there's been some good stuff. There's been some absolute dog shit stuff they've put out, but I think of all the stuff, I've loved The Mandalorian. I can't wait for season 3 of The Mandalorian. I frankly, I mean, each to their own. This is no judgment on anyone who enjoyed it because we all like different things. I wouldn't care if they removed the Book of Boba Fett off Disney and burnt it. It never saw the light of day again because I thought there was only 2 good episodes in it, and guess what? They had the Mandalorian in. But that's just my view. But everyone's raving about Andor, so I'm going to give that a watch. Obi-Wan, I sort of enjoyed it, but I tell you what, I enjoyed the Patterson cut, the guy who edited it down in sort of 2 hours and 20 minutes. I did like that. But the nice thing is we can pick and choose. There's no one holding a gun to our head saying you have to watch all of it. You can pick and choose what you want to watch, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. And if you do like it, happy days. The only problem comes
like us three kind of thing. We grew up with the original trilogy, so that's kind of our Star Wars. Like the newer ones are for like more, like for you, Jack's. That's more for Jack's kind of era, and same for my nephew. That's his kind of era. It's like getting him to watch the original ones is like that's not Star Wars because he's not used to Vader already being a part of Star Wars. He's used to Vader gradually changing.
The interesting thing that happened with Jax, though, so I thought my era doing this took a long. He played with Star Wars toys for ages as toys, and he created his own scenario in his head because it's very hard to get to give things a try. Sometimes he's very stubborn. Then he wanted to watch Star Wars, and I thought basically because I put on the bad lip reading videos, the songs, and he fell in love with the Hoth snow scene which they used in that. So I thought, well, what I'll do it as you want to watch Star Wars, I'll start on episode 1 and play it right through. He was bored as shit on the prequel trilogy, and he was like, but I put on the sequel trilogy, and he really enjoyed it. So, but I think maybe now he's watched them, he might enjoy the prequel trilogy, because obviously when we grew up, we didn't watch it one through whatever. We saw Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi, and then we got to look back on it. We didn't start there. And thing is, sorry, carry on, Baz.
For me, me and my younger brother, we do this every Christmas Eve. Is it when he comes to drop off the presents, we end up doing a Star Wars marathon, but we watch it from the original, and then if we've got time, we'll watch the new ones. It's like a lot of people say, but you're watching that back to front. You should watch episode 1 and then go on. And it's like, no. I see the way that we grew up with the original 3, so that's what we watch first.
The problem is if let's say nothing, you've got a kid and they know nothing about Star Wars, right? And you watch the prequel trilogy first, there is no surprise in Empire, because you know who Anakin Skywalker is, you know who he becomes, you know he's Luke and Leia's dad. So in a way, you are almost better if someone's not watched them at all to say, look, seriously, watch the original ones, then go back, because the prequel trilogy, no judgment on anyone. I watched them when I was younger because they came out and I enjoyed them at the time, and I don't dislike them now, but obviously I know what I really like, and that is the original trilogy. But I could never recommend anyone to watch them in number sequence, because it ruins all. If you've not seen any of it, it ruins all of the surprise.
So like me and my younger brother, man, we grew up with Star Wars, we grew up with He-Man, we grew up with all the 80s stuff. So when we've done this for years. The only time we couldn't do it was like 2 years ago when we hit the first year of the pandemic. It's the only time we kind of missed it. But we've done this for nearly, my brother we started doing it when I think I was 10 years old. So I've been doing this for this is like a 30-year thing. We've done this for nearly 30 years. And we'll always watch it from hope to whatever. Because some of the new ones, as you say, some of them are good and some of them are like, what the fuck were they thinking? Kind of thing. And then I've got a guy at work, and he's meant to be a big Star Wars fan. But man, he grew up in the 90s, so he basically grew up when the
Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones.
So he watches it for Phantom Menace upwards. And then it's like, no, he says, the way you should watch is like, watch like the trilogy. Then you've got to watch the animated from in
Clone Wars.
Then you've got to, and then you start moving into the other movies, and it's like, no. I says, maybe you want to do it that way. I says, that just interests me.
I think the thing as well is, it's important for people to remember is there is no right or wrong way as to how you like Star Wars. If you want to watch them in number sequence and watch all the Rebels and Clone Wars, which frankly the animation style takes me out of it. I don't like the animation style, so that's why I've struggled to watch it. If you enjoy that and you want to watch it, that's great. That's your way you enjoy it. There's no problem with that. It only becomes problematic when one thing I'll never say to another. I will openly say what I do and don't like about certain Star Wars things, and I'll refer to things as dog shit. But if I refer to something as dog shit which you like, it's not a personal attack on you. That's just I don't like it. No. But if you like it, that's bloody brilliant because you've enjoyed it, and that's great.
It's like everybody's got their own opinion on stuff. It's like you might think one movie or toy line's amazing, and the next person say, "Oh, why are you spending your money on that shite?" kind of thing. If they think it's shite, that's their opinion, kind of thing. I got nothing against anybody. everybody's entitled to their own opinions, their own views on certain
It's
things.
like Shanti's just said, I love watching it in order, seeing Anakin's full arc in order is very impactful. It's sad. And that's awesome. So that's Shanti's way of enjoying the trilogy. But it's great because ultimately we all like the same thing. So it doesn't matter how we enjoy it. I was going to make a really lewd comment then and compare it to something, but I'm not going to because I'm more grown up than that.
It's like at the minute, my nephew, he's really going to He-Man for some weird reason. I don't know if it's because he sees like the He-Man stuff I've got on the shelf.
Oh, I suspect there's some of that to it, mate. They are quite influenced by what we like, mate.
He started watching like the next flick, the CGI one. Started watching that, he loved it, and then he's like, "Is there any more?" Because he kind of notices that I've got different variations of He-Man. So I've got ones for like the 2000X, I've got original He-Man figures, I've got the origin stuff, and then I've got some of the Revelation stuff. And I went, I says you've got the Revelations. That I says that's technically not kind of for you. It's, the Revelations is more an adult, kind of got more of an adult theme. But I says you've got Revelation. So he's now been watching like the 2000X He-Man, and he loves that. And he's been watching the original. Me and him watch the original one every night on YouTube. He fucking loves that. Keeps asking.
I watched Revelations, and there's a girl I work with occasionally, and she's a plumber, and Tila just reminded me of her. So I was like, I was just watching it thinking, God, you remind me of so and so. Same haircut as well.
It's like that's all he's went on about for like the last 2 months. It's like I'm hoping I get He-Man for Christmas.
But what a beautiful age for him though, because you've got all of the the reissue line where they've got more articulation, whatever you call it, and you've got all of the toy line for the Netflix series and Revelation. So it's brilliant for him. That's amazing. So at least
the way he actually said that, right, kind of reminded me when I was his age as a kid, because that's all I kind of wished for Christmas was He-Man. And then when that year come around, what did we get? We got Castle Grayskull, we got Snake Mountain, we got Skeletor, He-Man, a lot. And I'm hoping it's going to kind of be the same for him, Nick, that he's going to have like that nostalgia that I had when I was a kid.
You know what? In years to come, Baz, your nephew will be sat in a VR room and doing their version of whatever YouTube and shit becomes, where it's practically in the same room, and they'll be going, so yeah, when I was growing up, I've got this uncle called Baz, and he just had a room full of toys, and it had so much fucking impact on me, and this is why I'm a collector. So it's all good stuff, mate. It's great. I mean,
it's what my sister says. She goes, the way that he does his room, he's trying to copy what I do. And my sister always says,
do you know why that is though? And I'll tell you why. It's because he looks up to you and you're a hero of his.
Yeah.
So that's how much of an impact you have on him, and how much of a positive impact you have on his life, and how much he loves and looks up to you, because he wants to emulate what you do.
Right.
Because that's a good thing. That's got to hit you in the
it does,
in the heart a little bit.
Because like when you go and visit him and that, it's like the first thing is like, come with me, and it's like, where we're going? We'll go upstairs, and he'll go upstairs, and he's got like a little unit like this kind of thing, and he's got this random figures on it, and he says, that's what you do, kind of thing, eh? And it kind of chokes you up, because he's watching what you're doing, and he's trying to emulate like the displays and that. But then my sister says, I think you've created a monster, and it's like, no, really. I says, you may just go.
There is a lesson to take from that though, which my wife constantly reminds me of, right? Jackson does a lot of stuff I do. He collects a lot of the lines I collect, his own little version of it, because he wants to do what Daddy does. So all this positive bleeds into them, and they absorb it in. But it also means we have to go careful, because they'll also pick up our bad habits as well. I mean, that's the thing. Carla's always reminded me of. She's like, it's okay,
See,
but like,
it's funny she say it because like on a Saturday, if he's not got anything on with his mum and that, is it? I'll just message goes, you want me to take him away for a couple of hours, get him, so you've got time to do things. She's like, aye. So we'll go out, and if it's like if I decide to do like a toy hunt, it's like, okay, what? Let's go to the shops, let's see what new stuff we could pick up. So just say for example, because I've got these things, if I pick that up, if I pick one figure up, he wants one. If I pick up two figures, he wants two figures.
Yeah.
Or if I there's like the other like last week, I picked up one of the new retro style flip heads because he'd never seen me picking it up, and it
I
wasn't.
must admit, I've looked at those. I might have to get some.
It's like, when did you buy that? I says, we were in the shop when you bought it. He says, why did you not buy me one? I said, because you never asked. I says, you did have your pennies because your mum gave you some pennies. You could have got one. It's like, oh.
So you know that
picked up.
Not to waffle on. Sorry, what you got there?
It's like, but you're getting that. I want something. I says, well, you've got your pennies. If you want something, go and buy it.
Yeah, he's got his pennies, but the thing is, he's also got Uncle Baz's pennies. You got to remember that.
That's the thing. He wants to spend my money plus his own money.
But I mean, not to waffle on about last night's stream, but I had to pull a massive lie last night in our house because obviously I had to set up for the stream, and I've got those two Action Men which I bought, and actually it's double fit. I'm not buying two lots of them. I bought them for his Christmas presents because he's well into Action Men because of me. So I had to so he's like, oh, I really want those. Or they might say, no, they're not yours. They were lent to me by my friend, and I've got to post them back. Well, no, they are bloody yours because at the price they cost, I assure you, I'm not buying two for review and two for Christmas. They can go straight back in the box, and but they do. They just suck in everything what we like. They take it on board, and it's brilliant to see. But then, look, going back to something you said earlier, your granddad, or your papa, as you called him, right? You have openly said you became a collector because of him, because he collected those buses. Isn't it great to see how you became a collector because of your papa, your nephew because of you? So these cool things are passing on generation to generation. So in a way, like my nephew, your papa lives on through your nephew.
He does go through phases for like different toy lines because for a while he was into wrestling. I've lost count of how many wrestlers I've had to buy him over the last couple of years. But he loves turtles, so he'll go through a phase for maybe 2 or 3 months. He'll constantly just play with the wrestling figures. Then he'll get bored of that, and then he'll ask you, like, do you have any turtle figure? And it's like, probably. I says, we'll need to go through your boxes and see what you've got. So we end up spending like 3 or 4 hours going through like 20 of them in 20-litre fucking boxes just try to find turtle figures or Power Rangers or
it's such a hardship having to sit down for 3 or 4 hours and play with toys, isn't it? It's so hard.
But it's like,
I love it whenever we've got to sort out Jackson's toys, because he's probably got equal amounts of toys as your nephew, and
it's
good chance to play, isn't it?
When I'm here, he'll come. I'm his best buddy, but when my sister's fiance comes over from the island, I've been I get kicked out the door, and the two of them, when my sister's fiance, he's a collector as well, kind of thing. So that's what kind of, as I say, she's finally found her Prince Charming, Nick. Through all the relationships she's had and all that, this guy, he adores her, man. This guy would throw roses at her feet just for walking. And he didn't care that my sister already had like a pre-started family. He's kind of took Riley on as his own. He's taken my nephew on as his own like kid. And it's weird to see them because it's like when he comes over, I kind of it's like my sister says, like, you get like shoved to the side. But it's nice to see him interacting with him because he'll play with the wrestling figures, he'll play with and they'll play for hours. He doesn't
Remember this though. To put it into in an odd sort of toy related analogy, when you were a kid, right, you know what it's like. You had your favorite toy, and you go out and you buy a new toy, and for a little while it becomes the favorite. That becomes the favorite, and the old
Mhm.
toy gets pushed aside. But you always went back to that old toy.
That's that's just like my nephew, man. You buy him a new toy and he'll constantly play with that for days, hours, and then all of a sudden he'll go back to like the older stuff because he knows the older stuff's the stuff that either I've got him or his mum's bought him or his other uncles have bought him, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But he's always got that one toy that he'll not stop playing with, even though it doesn't match with the toy lines that he's got. It's weird because you'll play with like he'll play with like his Spider-Man with Batman, and it's like he's making. That's what I love about my nephew because his imagination's fucking like mental, and you'll just see scenarios, and he's like got a Batman figure in one hand, and he's got Spider-Man in another hand, and he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man, let's we need to take out the bad guys," kind of thing, and it's the way he does it. Man, I don't know if Jackson does that as well.
Yeah, but I used to do the same, so it didn't. The only thing I was a bit picky with as a kid was scale. The figures I played with had to be in the same similar-ish scale, but if they were in scale, anyone could be in any team. And the Ghostbusters Firehouse was the base. It was the center for practically every toy I had. The Ghostbusters Firehouse was the home for the Simpsons when I went for a stage of collecting those. It was the Action Force base. It was everything. Every toy line.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd done this with the Star Wars figures, but see when you had the Action Force stuff, I used to kid on it. The Action Force were like the bad guys, kind of thing. Like Vader was in charge of those kind of thing. I had like my own idea.
No, I get it because when I was a kid, I had Action Force because my mum bought a giant box of them from a friend. And I'd missed the 80s when they come out, so I didn't really have any concept of. I knew they were called Action Force because there's the stickers on the vehicles, but I didn't even know that they were connected to. That later on they became connected to G.I. Joe Action Force Internationals into G.I. Joe. I had no idea of that, but I played with those. I had some of those in with them, but I didn't know. But the SAS guys in my Action Force figures, they were always the bad guys because they looked evil. They looked menacing with their gas masks on. Now I know all about the SAS, what they were, why they were inspired. Well, the embassy attack, the terrorist attack, Palatoy releasing the Action Man of the SAS guy, leading to them shrinking the line down to try and save it because the Star Wars story goes on and on and on. But they released that because they released the SAS of it because it was one of the most basically Action Force. The first ones they released the first 12 plus one mail away, so 13. They were all based on Action Man's most popular selling uniforms.
Right.
And I had no idea as a kid that there was tons of those SAS figures in there. Probably, well, I say tons. There's probably 5 or 6 of each version of figure. But they were so cheap to buy back in the day. Looking back, they were sort of toy your mum would have took you out shopping, and if you were good, they might have bought you an Action Force figure. So
I always reminded like Action Force, probably when I was about maybe 8 or 9, going into like Woolies, and it'd be in like the clearance bins. You'd be able to pick up like 2 or 3 for like £1 or something.
Back in the day, Argos used to. I'd like to do a stream on Action Force actually, but I need to. Oh damn it! I'm gonna have to go out and buy a load more Action Force stuff. Such a pain, isn't it? Argos used to have packs where you could just go in and they would just sell. You go in and they did a special price and it would come with 5 Action Force figures, but you didn't fucking know what ones you were getting.
Aye.
Remember back in the day with Argos, you'd go in and they'd have a number for like the toys. So Turtles, they'd all have the same number, but it didn't tell you what one was getting. So you'd have to go in and you'd have to really say, I want Donatello. No one wanted Donatello. Well, some people did. I want Leonardo. But you had to hope because it could be quite random, these things. I mean, I don't know if shops like Argos existed. They must have existed in other places in the world. Maybe not Argos, but an equivalent.
Aye.
But that was I always remember it. I can remember. Do you remember the Crash Test Dummies toys?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I was massive on them for a bit, and I can remember getting a couple of them, and I can remember being devastated going into Argos because I wanted one particular one. So I want this one because you couldn't, as I say, you couldn't just order the one you wanted. You just put the number in,
No.
you had to sort of say. And they said, "Oh yeah," and they sent down the wrong one. I was like, "It's the wrong one," and I'd paid for it out of my, like my money, my pocket money.
Mhm.
And I was like, "I don't want that one." And my mum's like, "Well, you've got one, so come on, we've got to move on." I was devastated. I'd ended up with a toy, but it wasn't the fucking toy I wanted.
That was like with Argos back in the days, like, because I remember, I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s, went into Argos, and Argos was basically, they had a big clearance sale, and they were selling off all the Beast War figures.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think it was when I got my first, I think it's when I got my second paycheck. It's like, I just happened to go in because I was looking for something else, and I noticed that the Beast War stuff in. I must have kept going in every week and picking them up, and it was like when you were going out the thingy, fair enough, the guy that was serving us, he always, even though it's just a one number and that number, it's just a random figure, he would bring down like half a dozen to see which ones you wanted. So if you were buying three, he probably thought he sales like, wait a minute, he's no want three the same. I said, I'll just bring down what we've got. And I know some now, if you're going to Argos now, and there's sometimes if they've got four figures, they will have a separate code for each figure. Some of them don't. So you've usually got to ask, is like, is there any chance I could see what you've got before I buy? But back then, you never really had that. You had to basically just had the catalogue number, put that in, you had to go and pay for it, and then it's like, oh shit, that's not the one I want.
Yeah, and it was the same because there was I don't know, in Scotland, did you have Index as well? It was like it was carbon copy of Argos, really, wasn't it? It was connected to Littlewoods, if I recall.
The thing with Index is that sometimes Index, when their stuff was slightly cheaper, so it was always, you always went there first to see what they had, and if they didn't have that,
Oh, definitely, you would, because in our town, Argos and Index weren't that far from each other, so you would go and see, or you'd have the catalogues at home, certainly. But if you couldn't, if it was a new line, because sometimes they'd launch stuff before the new catalogue came out, and they'd release those little thin, almost like magazine type things.
Right.
It would say new in, and that's when you'd have to go back and forth. But yeah, Index would always be typically. It wasn't much looking back. It wasn't worth the walk. But when you're a kid and you've got a fiver, 20p's 20p. So you want the cheapest you can get.
Well, if you think about it, when you had £5 when you were young, you felt like
I was fucking rich. I was rich.
Oh yeah.
Mate, my nan used to come down every summer, and every summer she used to give us £20. Oh fuck, mate! It would burn a hole in my pocket. So I'm massively into the classic James Bond films, and I remember she'd come down, and John Menzies. Do you remember them?
Yes.
Yeah. So John Menzies had a promotion on, and it was 2 James Bond videos for £10, I think. And I would collect them because all the spines would line up and make a big picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the twats, excuse me, I'm swearing really bad tonight, changed the fucking design of the spines halfway through, so it's chucking them along. And I can remember going into John Menzies and buying like 2 James Bond films. I think I bought Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun. And then I still had £10 left for toys. Mate, I was living it up.
Can you talk about that? Is it my dad's auntie, when we used to go and visit her, she would give us money to go to the shop. So back then, you didn't know how much money was, kind of thing. I mean, we were only probably about 10 or 11 at the time. And she would give us £20 to go and get a sweetie at the sweet shop. And it's like, she would say, go and get a sweetie. So we just kind of went, got the sweets, come back, and it's like, we're about to like hand the change over. And she's like, no, you keep that. And then my mum and dad's like, looking, it's like, what did you get them? I just get them 20 quid each. She's like, what, for the shop? See, if you're not. She goes, no, well, what they've not spent, they can go, you can take them to the toy shop now and you can get them, we can pick a toy. Because we used
Thing is,
to have,
I was quite a fat kid. I would have probably brought £20 worth of sweets.
but we didn't, at that time, is that she gave us notes each. So back then you didn't really know what money was, kind of thing. So you thought she just gave you enough to get a sweetie. But it's not until you can give you a load of change back. And he's like, "What's that?" So the kind of
Do
kid.
you remember? I don't know if you had this. And so there was a post office we used to go to on the way to school, and it used to be buy a quarter of sweets, get a quarter free. So £1/4 of sweets.
Aye.
And they used to. They're called. I think they're called Millions or whatever they're called. I remember when they came out, and so being the fat kid I was, I'd buy 2 quarters, so I'd end up with £1 of these sweets in the paper bag. How I didn't have childhood diabetes, I do not know, but yeah, I can remember doing that, and all these little memories of growing up. So grandparents or aunties and uncles giving you money for toys, going to the sweet shop.
It was kind of because when we were younger, my dad's mum, once we kind of stood in the same area, then we ended up moving up here. So, but when we went back there at the weekend, man, we always went to her grand's at the weekend to have a stay over, and she spoiled the living shit out of us. So, where we used to stay, they had a post office there, but this was a post office / like a mini, I would say like a mini toy shop, because they had glass cabinets that were full of like He-Man figures, Thundercat figures, you name it, they had it. Every Saturday afternoon, she would take us down. She's like, pick what you want. And it was like that every weekend kind of thing.
I tell you,
and then mum and dad and that picked us up on the Sundays, like, what did I tell you? They didn't need any more shite. They don't need any more toys. She's like, they're only kids.
We've had to put a lockdown on our house of recent, because it is lovely that the grandparents want to spoil Jax, but they'll take. He does well, so like I'll go charity shop. People buying toys for kids who don't need anymore. But I've had to say to the grandparents, do not buy him anything more from the charity shop for now. We are covertly getting rid of toys he doesn't play with, toys which he's far too old for. I'm not. I'm pretty sensible. I know the sort of toys I don't want to get rid of his, because they'll be special, right. But there's always some shit that you've got to get rid of. So we're currently covertly getting rid of all the crap to clear room for Christmas, because I live in the tiniest little 2-bed cottage going. I mean, there are people who will have front rooms that are a bigger floor print than the cottage I live in. Hence why I don't have a proper toy room. I've just got some shelves. But yeah, no, you can always rely on relations, grandparents, aunties, and uncles to you're trying to tone it down with how many toys, and you probably do this to your nephew, and your sister probably thinks the same. They'll come back with a big bag of toys, but you think, where the fucking hell are we going to put those?
Exactly. She always tells us, like, if I take him out at the weekend, so she takes money in my bank for him. She goes, I don't want him buying shite. I don't want him buying them sweeties. It's like, right, that's his money. He can do what he wants with it. It was like last week when he come back with like that big baggy figures, and the look on my sister's face is like, what shite is he buying? It's like, it's his money. He can spend it the way he wants. I says, there was a couple of things he wanted, but I had to say no. You can't get.
I'll tell you what, Baz. Just point this out. Next time your sister says this, and I'm saying this as a parent who constantly tells people, don't buy my kid any more shite. Next time your sister brings this up, all you got to say is, look, I'm turning him into a toy collector. He's going to be a toy collector. And do you know what that means? That means he'll never have money for drugs. I'm doing him a favor.
Why?
There you go.
That's like she always says. She always thing is like, would you stop buying him shite? And I say, I don't buy him shite. I buy him the good stuff. I says, if he wants He-Man, I'm going to buy him a He-Man figure. I'm not going to buy him anything dodgy.
I got accused last night by my wife of being a hoarder because on the top of our wardrobe, I've got the 3 shelves, the shelves of dreams, as I call them, in our bedroom. And I've managed to take the top of the wardrobe, which is a pain in the dick because it always gets dusty, and I literally have to put a mask on because I've such bad dust allergy and clean it down every once in a while. And yeah, I have to do that. And I've completely lost my train of thought there because I coughed. I'm sorry. No, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Baz? Go on. You're quite. What was I
Something
saying?
about putting a mask on when you were dusting.
Yeah.
Just before that, there was something else.
Shelves
Something
of
about the
dreams.
wardrobe, on top of the wardrobe.
Oh yeah, the shelves of dreams, the toys. I was leading to somewhere, but there you go. This is what happens when you speak to somebody who's existing on probably 4 hours of sleep currently. So
I am.
I'm sure there was a great end to that story. And if you tune back in another time, I might well finish it, but my brain's just gone dead there. It's just all toys.
It's like G-Forces. Wait, Baz, did you see the life-size Harley Quinn that Dave had in his video yesterday? I did. I would buy that if I had room for it. And then I would say to myself, and then I have a serious problem. I have an addiction.
I'm fighting.
Flying at 37,000 feet. And congratulations, Baz. Hoarder. It's not that. It's not every toy collector.
Thank you. Someone's just reminded me what I was going to say. Sorry, it's just come back. I do apologise to cut in. I was leading to being accused of being a hoarder because on the top of my wardrobe at the back, I've got a load of the Action Men boxes from those modern Action Men, which I reviewed last night. And my wife goes, oh, you said about keeping crap, but you've kept those. I'm like, you don't throw away boxes to Action Men, but you said you don't like them. But look, because I had those, when I did the stream, I could show people the artwork without just bringing it up on Google. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's the thing, is that certain boxes you will keep because it's the artwork. The artwork's, that's what kind of attracts you to the
other reason I kept them as well is they are shit boxes that hold no value, these boxes I've kept, but I do quite a bit of trading back and forth with other Action Men people, and they're bloody ideal to chuck a figure in because they're quite well padded, they're quite well protected. Right. And I've sent a few things off in them. So obviously I don't send out no, I don't think I've actually got any original Palatoy boxes. I've got 40th reissue boxes. But frankly, most of the Palatoy boxes that are worth having are far way out of my price range. And the ones that I can afford are basically falling apart. So you're better off just getting a replica box. The only reason I've ever kept any of the replica boxes because sometimes it's nice to display the figure with the amazing old school artwork behind them.
Carla needs a medal, can't you say?
Oh yeah, no, Carla absolutely does. I phoned Luke Reynolds tonight on a video call. We have a catch up normally once a week and talk a load of waffle and bollocks. And I think it's quite funny because Carla's always to the side of me, and Luke's so nice and speaks to her. And Luke pretty much says the same to her, like, you need a medal. But then, you know, I guess Rach, his partner, probably deserves a medal as well. I think any of our partners deserve a medal because when Carla met me, all right, she got with a guy who was a bit of a metalhead and into bands and stuff, but little did she know she was taking on a guy who buys dolls and dresses them. Do you know what I mean? that came after. So I think any of our partners bloody deserve medals. Absolutely. Because I wonder what they think. I sometimes wonder, like, when Carla's at work, because obviously they must talk, they must talk to their colleagues and their friends at work about their other halves and that. I wonder if, like, all her friends' other halves going, oh yeah, my partner, he plays football on the weekend and he does this and he does that. And then it must come to Carla. She's like, yeah, mine tends to like to have a few beers and dress up dolls.
That'd be like the conversation you'd want to be like the fly on the wall kind of thing to see what the reaction was.
Mind you, they one thing I will say for the people she works with, they're all pretty good, because when I did my first YouTube video, I found out when I got home that I think Carla managed to get it up on the staff room TV, and they all sat there and watched my video. And they've all subbed, and they still watch, and I think some of them still leave the odd comment or say to Carla, "Oh, I watched Nick's video." So it's probably just to make them feel better about their own lives, to be honest. But hey, it's a view for me.
Like Friday afternoon is like they're talking. It's like, oh, what are you up to this weekend? Well, next going to Toys R Us, or just say for example, I know Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore. It's like, oh, next
Smith's Toys for us now.
He's going to go and do some toy hunting kind of thing. He's going to go and pick up some more dolls and action figures and take the wee one out as well.
My weekends are very predictable, actually. I mean, I not all the time, but I try. I normally have a couple of beers on a Friday night and a Saturday night. Not blinding drunk, just literally a couple of beers. Mind you, the other week I said to Carla last Saturday, I said, "Oh, when you go to Tesco, can you pick me up just pick us up a bottle of beer Moret or a bottle of San Miguel, please, one of the big ones." And she came back with a load that were on an offer. And the problem is I'm such a child. So if there's 4 big beers in the fridge, guess what? 4 big beers get drunk. There's no... But so my weekends are quite predictable. I like to have a couple of beers of an evening. If there's something on, like a toy fair on a Sunday, I like to go to that. We like to try and do something as a family on a Sunday. It's not just all Nick and his toys, but generally Jax is into toys as well. So, oh yeah, Jax will love it. But normally watch the boxing, have a wander around charity shops, have a few. I'm a really boring bastard, I've got to say it. I like boxing, beer, and toys. There's worse things out there to like.
That sounds so good.
It's like there's a few folk at my work, a few of my colleagues that work at they've kind of found out that I do the YouTube videos and I do this, and some of them are quite like, oh, it's quite weird that I wouldn't have thought you were that kind of person, kind of thing. And other folk are like, but you're a grown man, why are you killing? It's like, you know what? Mind your own business. But you do get the genuine ones that's like, I've watched some of your videos and some of the stuff you've got, man, that's crazy what you've managed to accumulate over all these years. And it's like, when you look at certain ones, it's like, oh, what are you up to this weekend? Oh, I'm taking the wee boy toy hunting. And it's like, they just look at you to say, what, for the wee boy? I went, no, for me.
I had a guy who he doesn't work with us anymore, but he was another trade, and he'd be quite obnoxious, and he got to know that I collected toys and whatnot. And what he used to try and do was, we'd be in the builders, merchants or whatever, getting materials, and I've got broad shoulders, I can hold my own, there's no worries with that. But he'd try and take the piss at me, but he'd get real nasty and obnoxious about it. And this isn't a slight on anyone who's single or lives on their own or anything, but one day we're in the merchants and he's going on, oh, what are you going to do this weekend? Go out and play with your fucking dolls, you sad bastard. And I just turned around and said, who's the sad bastard? Me with the wife, the lovely son, the hobby, the nice house, the decent job, or you, the overweight person who lives on their own with no friends? And you're taking the piss out of me, sunshine. Go fuck yourself. And I literally said that in the middle of sorry about the language. And he went every shade of red going. And I was like, look, sunshine, you want to start taking the piss out of me and being nasty about what I enjoy? I'm not embarrassed by what I do. I'm not embarrassed by my hobby. I'll talk to anyone about it. And generally, I don't tend to get like that with people. But I thought, hang on, I've got this arsehole. And you know what it's like when there's a group of blokes around there. It's that bullying mentality, isn't it? What he wants to do is get a rise and make me look a dickhead. But what happened was he ended up looking an absolute twat and everyone laughing at him. So, and you know, he never spoke to me again after that. He left a couple of weeks later. It wasn't because of that he left. He was leaving anyway.
Yeah, a
but-
lot of folk is what I've kind of noticed, especially the ones that kind of look down at you because you collect action figures and all that. To me, I think they're jealous because they never go into that hobby. They don't pick up those things. So I think it's a jealousy thing. It's like, oh, I wished I was younger. I wished I kept my stuff. I wished I did this. I wish I never sold it. It's like the amount of times I've shown my Harley Quinn stuff to folk at my work, and it's like, fucking hell, Baz, you've got a problem. And I says, I know I've got a fucking problem. I say, I see a Harley Quinn and a Joker, I've got to buy it. It doesn't matter if I've got fucking 6 the same. That's my weakness. That's my kryptonite.
But everyone who ever stands there, I mean, I've only that story I just told you. It probably makes me sound like an obnoxious twat, but I'm really not. But what I will not stand for is people trying to bully me.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm an adult. I'm an adult now. I had that shit as a kid. Don't come at me now with it, because I'll quite gladly tell anyone where to go if they're being rude. There's no need for it. But all these people, and I've come across it quite a few times, and it's interesting to hear that. I don't know if you've ever experienced the nasty side of people trying to really be obnoxious and take the piss. But all these people, they do their own things. They've got their own thing. Never look at someone and judge them for what they're into. Providing it's something that's legal, above board, not breaking any laws or whatnot, you know, providing you're not some massive predator of some description, that's what you do. If someone's got a hobby, if they're into bodybuilding, if they're into, like I said, as long as they're not some horrible, vicious criminal doing something perverse, leave people alone to their hobbies. Some people collect stamps, some people collect toys, some people like to go to a gym, stand in the mirror, look like a toss pot with their camera there, filming themselves flexing their muscles. I do laugh if I ever go to the gym and sit, but I laugh internally. I don't take the piss out of them, because at the end of the day, who am I to judge what they're doing? And I don't mind if people have a chuckle about what I do and think in their head, sad bastard. I don't care. Horses for courses. What other people do doesn't concern me. We all have a chuckle about what other people do to a degree in our heads, but it's how you do it, and it's the banter of it. What's silly to one person, to another person is their life, or a big part of their life, and what they enjoy, and it makes up them as a person. So you should never look at someone and put them down. Like I say, whenever at the start of the year, I was hitting the gym quite a lot, and I would go in the gym and I would literally see, and every young girl and every young lad, they would be there. They'd have their phone set there and they'd be posing. And I used to think they looked ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it's not like I went up to them and went, "Oh, you tosspot, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Look at you." It's not my place. Just because it's something I don't understand or something I wouldn't do. And even if I think they look a bit daft doing it, so what? I think people who do cycling look daft in all their spandex, but it's what they enjoy. You know, at least they've got strong, healthy hearts. You know, I ain't getting any fitter or slimmer buying toys, mate. I can tell you that now. Walking around the charity shop ain't burning off. Around the charity shops ain't burning off the calories I put down my neck on the weekend and beers and takeaway. I tell you that now. I'd like to think it does, but it don't.
I know the feeling.
I've still got 2 stone to get off from the start of. I mean, I worked all the way through lockdown, so I should have no excuse. I put on 2 stone over lockdown, and I know I lose weight really quickly, but I'm too lazy to get rid of it, because that actually involves effort. Like, start of the year, I did really well. I practically got rid of it all again. So it's not from lockdown. I just gave up again. But the thing is, I'm happy and I'm content in my hobby. I'm content in my life, and it all leads to, it's what your priorities are. It leads back to, some people want to be gym bunnies, some people want to run, some people want to walk around toy fairs and get excited at bargains, and that's what I want to do.
It's like, it's funny. It's funny that hanging that is like, as you say, I take my nephew, right? I'm in my 40s. I'm in my early 40s. So you think I would get tired first? walking about all these charity shops, walking about the high streets. My nephew's like, we'll go out, be out for like half an hour. Oh, can I go back to the car? My legs are sore. And it's like, you're fitter than me. I says, come on. I says, it should be me complaining about needing to sit down. I says, you've got me going into all these bloody shops.
Well,
He just looks at me and laughs.
That's kids all over. It's like Jackson. I mean, I always joke, I sniff a milkshake, gain a pound. Jackson, I don't know. Literally, our food bill, you know, with all the price of food going up, my boy just eats because he never stops. He literally never stops. He's just a ball of it's not nervous, but it's like nervous energy. It's always like he can't sit down and just chill for a minute. If he sits down, he's like, what can I go and fuck up? What can I go and break? What can I play with? What can I do?
I know that. I know that feeling because my nephew's the exact same. Is that you'll tell him, go and sit down for 5 minutes, and then it's like they get all fidgety because they're wanting.
That's 5 minutes gone yet? No, it's barely been 10 seconds. Just let me make a coffee.
It's actually fun. My nephew's like, it's like, go and sit down for 10 minutes, and then he'll cut and goes, it's 10. It's that 10 minutes up yet? I went, no. I says, you've only been sitting down for like 30 seconds. Just sit until I'm ready. It's the same on. It's like usually on a Friday, once I get him for school, we usually end up going to the charity shops at night time kind of thing.
G-Force has got it sussed. Sorry, I just read his comment.
And then it's like, we'll pick him up, we'll go to the charity shop, and the first thing that comes out of his mind is like, we're going to be late for football. And I goes, Riley, I says, you've got 4 hours before you need to go bloody football. I says, we've got time to go to do what we need to do. No, we need to go to football. I'm going to be late for football. And this is like 3 o'clock. And I says, Riley, I say, your football doesn't start to 7. Sorry,
Christ.
6:30. And I says, you've still got about 3 hours before you have to do anything. But I think it's the kids that just got like that.
Oh, they have.
Kind of sit on their arse.
A couple of weeks ago, I'd arranged to go and do a toy trade with Dave, Toy Polloy, and go and have lunch and have a catch up because we hadn't met up for a few weeks. And I said I'd take Jackson along, and because Dave said, look, he really wants a Jabba the Hutt. I've put a Jabba the Hutt together for him. And it was like 3 hours till we had to leave. It was an hour drive away, but it was like, can we go yet? Well, no, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Can we go? And he did my flipping head in all morning. He just mithered and nagged me. And then when we got there, mate, we sat down, we ordered food, changed toys at the table. It looked like a drug deal going on, but it wasn't. It was just shoe boxes full of toys. And after literally 5 minutes of chatting to Dave, getting his Jabba the Hutt, he's like, I'm bored, Dad. What can we do now? It's like, no, go over there. And fortunately, if it's one of these really nice cafes where they got a kids area, so we was like, go over there and play. The adults just want to have a coffee and talk shit for an hour. Do you know what I mean? And then, of course, I'm on edge the whole time because my son does nothing discreetly, nothing quietly. They had a giant Connect 4 type thing there. And, of course, you pull the bottom away and all the discs drop out. Well, you've got a cafe there. So it's me and Dave sat there. There's a couple of tables around us, little old couples. It's and Jackson just rips the bottom off this thing and clang, 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 clang. And you're like, oh, fuck. And everyone's like, oh, don't worry, he's playing. But it's like, I just can't. I'm on edge the whole time because it's like, go and play. But equally, I have to run over because they've got a shelf full of things they sell. But they had like money boxes on there, like, porcelain money boxes, whatever they are. And I'm fucking running over. Like, don't touch those. Don't touch them. Because I know what your touching means. Your touching means, whoops, smash.
See, my nephew's kind of like that, especially when you go to the chat shop, especially if there's anything there that makes a noise. He'll be there and he'll be, especially if it's a gun. And when the gun's making a really looking, it's like, no. I said, before we go in here, do not touch anything unless you're going to buy it. But not him. He'll go in and he'll just run about the charity shop fucking pressing the triggers, man. And it's like,
mate, I've got that beat. We were in a charity shop in our town and they had a Nerf gun type. It was a sort of Nerf type rip-off gun for sale. And in their infinite wisdom, they decided to have it with a couple of bullets still in it.
Mm.
Fucking Jackson's there. Shoots, nearly hits this lady with the thing. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, it's fine, dear. I'm thinking, put the gun down. Fucking
I'm
so
kidding, and
glad
I'm
you didn't like
really glad
nail
you're
this woman in the head with a dart.
When they sell like Nerf guns, there's no darts because I know for a fact my nephew would just fire them at any cunt.
Mm.
You'd be like, no shit, what's he done?
But it's stuff. I mean, I wouldn't change him for the world. And we'll look back and, well, I'll laugh at him on his 18th birthday telling these sorts of stories. But the thing is, when you're out and about, I mean, kids can embarrass you at the best time. I'll tell you this story, and this is a classic example of how kids will let you down at the absolute worst moment, right? When we go to the toilets, like when we're out, 'cause you know what kids are like, they're fine. Dad, I need the toilet. Can you wait a minute? No, I'm going to wet myself. You know, so you got to rush to find toilets. So this was a couple of years ago. We're in the Tesco in our town just doing a shop. I run him to the toilets. It's easier to take him into the cubicles. He's not that tall. I don't want him face height with people using urinals and whatnot. So anyway, we whip into the cubicle, shut the door. He does his business, and I'm like, right, I'm just gonna have a wee, Jack. Stay there. Anyway, have a wee. Finishing to we're blokes here. We know the procedure and everything. And Jackson just loudly exclaims, "Daddy, why are you playing with yourself?" Right. I'm like, no, I'm not. I've just given it a little shake because I've had a wee. It's a courtesy shake, right? And fortunately enough, that there was another bloke in there. I just said this bloke burst out laughing. He's obviously got kids, and that's like, I'm not playing with myself. I'm just, but that is what kids. The dynamic of that. I'm just having a wee. I'm doing what needs to be done, and my kid just shouts. They will let you down at the absolute worst moment.
Hey,
And I
kids will have
look
you
back and laugh now, but
because they'll just come up with that random thing,
Oh
and
man.
it's like, and especially they'll do it in public, and
mhm.
you're like, you just go, oh fuck, he's no minds, and you walk away from him.
You know, there I am innocently having a wee, doing what needs to be done before popping everything back that needs to go back. And there's my son making a statement like that. But he's just asking why I'm doing what I'm doing because they're kids and they're curious. But to anyone on the outside, that could have sounded so bad.
Mhm.
And it was so innocent. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And the thing is, you've got, so at the time he'd have been about 6. You can't, well, you've got a kid with you. It's not safe to say, right, I'm going to go and use a cubicle now. You go and that. You've got to keep them in there with you because the world's full of fucking weirdos. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this the safest way of doing it. But Carla has told me that he's a couple of times now when she's taken him into like toilets, you know, because you know it's like women, they take the small kids in the toilets with him. I won't tell you that Carla's story. She'll be mortified, but he's embarrassed her by loudly pointing stuff out while she's been in the toilets or in the bathroom, and you just think, oh God, kids, you gotta love them.
Oh,
It's but then you wouldn't change them for the world, would you? Because that's part of the fun of it. They keep you on your toes, and like Jackson is. I know everyone says their kids. I know not everyone, but most people say, "Oh, my kid's really intelligent." Most people's kids are intelligent, but because of where Jax is on the sort of spectrum of things, we'll just leave it at that. He is super intelligent, like, and it's kind of scary because he can outwit us, and but he also has no filter at all. So if like once we were somewhere and he just goes to me, there's this lady stood in front of us and she's got like sort of pink and rainbow colored hair and it looked really nice, you know. He's like, Dad, why has that woman dyed her hair all those weird colors? Well, she likes it, and I could hear the lady laughing. She turned around and says, "Oh, it's because I like this color in it." And I'm thinking, "Fucking hell! That if that would have been the wrong person." But kids, man, there ain't no filter on it, and that's partly why I like them. So the best thing about kids is they'll embarrass you, they're funny, and you can buy toys. because I know Christmas is coming up, and I know it's a prime opportunity to buy some toys I
Bit
want.
quiet today.
But I've just noticed that's just hit our 2 hours, so
Oh, yeah.
I need to watch yourself because, man, it's midnight for you, Rory, so I know you've got work in the morning.
Yeah, well.
I don't know about Nick, if Nick's working tomorrow, if he's just going to have a long lie.
No, I've got work, but I'm tired, mate. I'm tired absolutely every day. But Rory, if I'm ever talking, you want to talk, just say shut the fuck up, Nick, because that is I have the
Nah,
gift of the gab, mate.
No problem, mate. No problem.
I will
Still
talk
getting
for
used
Great
to
Britain.
these live streams, so.
Have you not
Shout
done
out
many
to
of them
commands,
before?
Nah,
no,
not really. No.
Oh man, the first couple I was on, I was quite quiet, and then I think because I've got to know Baz and that now, I think I forget I'm on a live stream. I feel it's almost the same as if I was to phone him on WhatsApp on a video call to me. I forget about everyone watching.
See, that's the best way to kind of do your live streams, Nick, is like just forget about everything else. Just do it like if you were talking to Dave on a voice chat kind of thing.
Yeah.
But man, a lot of folk have said, like, how can you do the live stream and do the chat at the same time? I'm kind of lucky that your chats are kind of small, so I can keep up with it. But then if you get to Shabby and Tez's thingy, I mean, they've got like 70, 80 folk. And they could have, and I've noticed sometimes Tez struggles with the chat.
16 people, 16, was it 16 people in chat last night? I mean, I had issues with not being able to flip between the screens very well, but it's hard to keep up.
Oh,
even with that number.
Even having like 20 folk on, man, I think the most I think I've had is about 30 folk. And that was a thing, but I like to try and show everybody's comment off. I know a lot of folk that do the live streams, they don't worry about the folk are saying hello to each other, but I just do it because it's just nature's like, oh, that's the next one, that's the next one, that's the next one. But
in a way, I can't. Is there a way of setting it so that well, I suppose you don't. It's not necessarily the best thing, but if it's the right people in the chat, is there any way of setting it that the comments will just sort of appear up and just flow across the screen, or
no,
on the phone? No.
The best person would probably ask would probably be one of the more ones that do live streams more often.
I know one thing I'm on my phone tonight, but a lot of the controls and features that are on my laptop aren't here on the phone.
No.
Aye, that's a different setup.
I can't screen share or anything on here.
You can, but you've got to go into another menu and then it cuts. It's a weird.
Can you? Okay.
Setup.
And as I say, the comments, I can. So, for instance, now I can press chat comments, and I can look. But the thing is, I now can't see you.
Aye. That's a weird. If you're doing it on your like laptop or a tablet, it's easier. But if you're doing it on your phone, it's a different. They must have a mobile version, and the mobile version is a pain in the arse.
I mean, like last night. I mean, at one point, I was having so many issues. Fortunately, it kept going, but I had my phone set up ready to go because doesn't matter how bad my internet issues can get out here.
Is it?
My phone never seems to lag.
Busting balls, mate.
But
we'll get there.
I must admit, Rory, I'm not subbed to your channel. I haven't come across it before, but I'm certainly gonna check it out after this and have a good old watch of what you do, because that's another thing these live streams are great for, is meeting people.
Nick, because you do like the nostalgia of the Rangers, the Power Ranger stuff, Rory's your best person to go.
Oh right, so I wouldn't say great, but I'm Mighty Morphin, because that's my era.
Yeah, that's my era mostly too.
And I still think to this day, I mean, it's unfair to say, because how can I judge, because I haven't watched much beyond it. But the Green Ranger story arc, and when Rita made him, and that I've watched it not that long ago. It's so good, and I don't care that it's cheesy, and I don't care it's badly acted. It's such a cool storyline, and the fact he comes over, and when it got to the green candle and his power's running out, and them charging him up, and then like the White Ranger, just that's my childhood right there.
Because Rory does a lot. He's done a lot of custom
Yeah.
Zords as well. So if that's the kind of thing you're into, check him out, man. Some of his Zords customs are amazing.
Excellent. I did see a Zord toy the other day, which I can't remember. You'll probably know. I think it's only about 8 inches tall, but it's is it the Megazord? There's a Megazord toy. I don't think you can transform it at all, but I wouldn't mind picking that up because I haven't got any of my. I had all of the. Is it the fun? Oh, it's my memory. All of the Thunderzords when we went over to like the Red Dragon, and I had the Red Dragon. I had the Thunderzord Ultra Team. Was it?
The Assault Team.
So it came with the tray, and he could ride it in form, and you could turn it into the Megazord. And I had, was it Tor or Four, the big turtle that came with it? And I had the White Tiger Zord. Yeah, I had that because that came with the White Ranger in the box. Much like the Dragon, was it the Dragon Zord? He came with the Green Ranger in the box.
Yeah.
And I think they may have come with their. Did they come with their power coins in the box as well?
The white one did. The white one had the Tiger Sword coin, but it was not the real Tiger Sword coin. It was more like
it was wrong. Because it was sort of like a. I looked at that as kids like that's not right. I didn't like it as much. But do you remember the little tiny plastic Rangers you got with them that you could
those
They were absolutely ace. But Kellogg's over here, when the Mighty Morphin film came out, they released a set of the 6 Rangers, and they were sort of yay big, and they were sculpted with their you may have seen them, but with like their movie armor on. But they were great because I used to play with them with my Zords. They weren't quite the right scale, but I used to love those. I had so much Power Ranger stuff that sadly though, it wasn't a particularly robust toy line, was it? And it was quite easy to break. And I wasn't,
especially that Red Dragon.
Mate, my first Red Dragon, I think I'd had it a week, and I managed to bust the leg where you turn it round to make the tail, but my mum took it back to probably Argos and said, "Oh, it's faulty," as parents did, and got me another one. But that wasn't a particularly strong toy.
Nah. I think I had 2 or 3 of those with busted the paws for the dragon that you make into the arm. Those snapped off really easy as well.
I'll tell you what else was shit on it is that his stick he came with that you could put together in 2 parts. Because I believe in the Thunderzord Ultra Team, you could take the tail off of Kimberly's Zord and pop it on the end of it.
Yeah.
I used to find the bit where you clip it together in the middle that wore out really quickly, and it would sort of get a bit janky and fall apart.
Yeah.
But mate, I really must. I'm terrible because I can't particularly remember all the names of stuff, but I very much remember the shows, and I must admit, for me, once Rocky, Aisha, and Adam came in, I never quite enjoyed it as much as the original team.
I think we'll cry this a night because it's coming up for 11:15. But I want to say thanks to Nick for coming on, Rory for coming on. All the best in the future. For hopefully, you never know, you might have hit 1,000 before the end of the year. We never know.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I'd piss myself. I hit 500 by the end of the year, but I don't think it'll happen. But we never know.
I piss myself generally anyway because I'm getting old. But if I can hit 300 subs, if I hit 300 by the end of the year, I tell you what, that I will have hit approximately 275 subs more than I thought I'd ever get. So
I just want to say thanks to everybody that supported us, me, supported Rory, yourself, kind of thing, to get us to where we are now. So if it wasn't for the guys in the chat, then we wouldn't be here, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's that. I think. I mean, I may not have.
Oh,
I think he's pressed the wrong button.
that was quick. Yeah, I get more.
I just want to say thanks to everybody for supporting me over the last year or so. He's back.
Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong X in the corner.
Oh no, I thought you did that. As I was saying, I just want to say thanks to everybody for supporting me and helping me get through certain shit.
Well, mate, it's a good, strong community around you, and you know, everyone will have your back. As I said earlier, you're a very genuine bloke. That's why your subs are growing. That's why people keep coming back, and that's why you get the support. So, you know, and equally, if you ever just want to shoot the shit, you can always chuck me a message, because as you know, I never shut the fuck up. So
I like what it says that when I do the live streams, is that you're kind of quiet, but I've gradually come out the shell. Because when I first started doing these, man, I was kind of I was a quiet one of the group kind of thing, but you now got to try and build the courage up to actually speak to people.
I think for me, it's just easier to make videos, I guess.
Right.
I will get there, but
why?
You just need, do this.
I'll tell you, Rory. I tell you what, man. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm certainly no expert, but if you do a live stream, I mean, like last night, obviously my passion was Action Man. I know that subject, and so I could go in there fucking confident, and I have my mate Alan on there, knows more than any of us on there, but you know, if you know the subject, mate, it's easy. Yeah. And that's when you'll find you talk, and that and you put yourself out there, because when you really know what you're talking about, I mean, if you don't know the subject and you're on Wikipedia the day before and watching someone else's documentary about it, people see through it straight away.
Oh yeah.
But if you actually have a passion for the line, and the thing is, what prepped me for doing my live stream last night, technical shit aside, was coming on other people's live streams, because although I hadn't ran a stream before, I've been on them. It's sort of know how they are. You sort of learn. The things I do, I've picked up from other people. You know, when it worked, bringing the comments up, introducing people, all that stuff. You learn sort of by watching, and then, like last night, the best thing that could have happened really was all those little errors that happened. I learned so much from it. There's a load of mistakes I won't make again, because I know what not to do, and I figured out why some of the things were happening. Because I know that now, basically, I'm a bit too quick to click, and I needed to press and wait a second.
Aye. That's what it is. It's just a learning, man. It took me a few months to get used to it, kind of thing. Once you get used to it, then it's just kind of second nature to you. And talk of the devil and it will appear.
Shouldn't you be in bed, young man, or in a lay-by? In a lay-by, dogging somewhere.
But before we go, there was one thing I will say, is that please watch the Monkeys Hideout on fucking Monday, because our good friend Mr. Peakyarrow
is going to
be on it. So it's going to be fun. I don't think Chris realizes what he's got in store for himself.
Well, I think he'll do it. I came out fairly unscathed. Sorry, I'm not in there tonight. Hey, man, it's all right. It just meant people had to put up with me talking bollocks for an hour and a half. But
But Chris is on Salacious's Monday night hangout, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
I tell you what, if Rory ever gets the invite, mate, that is a baptism by fire.
Oh God.
Hopefully that will not happen now. Let him get a chance to adjust to stuff before. That's like putting petrol into a fire, man. Roy will not have a clue.
I know Baz wants to close the stream off, Rory, but I mean, all I can say, you probably won't have seen my episode, but
I think I had
the strangest Star Wars roleplay I've ever come across, arguing about wank socks and using the probes on droids as sex toys.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think I saw that one. I've watched all those on Monday.
I laughed that much that I thought I stopped breathing.
Mate, the I can be I'm reasonably quick-witted, and I was on like hyper alert the whole time because one minute Bob's talking and then Rum talks. You know, you're having a sort of a nice conversation with Bob, and then Rum will just. It's just like the daft things that make me laugh. Just when Rum sits there and starts saying, "Oh baby, I like it raw. Oh baby, I like it." The fuck are you doing, mate? Calm down, you monkey lizard. And then I think we French kissed on cam and stuff, and I got a message from Dave the day after saying, "I watched your stream last night. That was fucking weird, but I loved it."
Oh, so, Liz, I mean, your stream with Salacious, it was good. When he's done the role play, I laughed that much as I was like, I couldn't fucking breathe, man. I was like, no way.
The only advice I'd give Chris on Monday is just lean into it. It's not an execution. It's a get to know you with Bob, who is very sensible, and Rum, who is an absolute sex addicted space creature.
Because when he does the thing, he does like the Star Wars like role play. I don't know what Chris he does know a little bit about Star Wars, but not a lot kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see if he changes that, or if he's just going to still do that and then make some random.
Well, the advice I would give Chris is if you do a Star Wars scene, the easiest, because you don't have to know the film, just do that. Just do the scene where Darth Vader tells you he's your dad, because then you've got all manner of daddy issues you can bring up and shout and have a good laugh with. Do you know what I mean? And it's such an iconic scene, even if you don't know Star Wars, you've seen that scene.
Before we go, the other scene he could do an Ewok scene, because he's small enough to be one.
What he wants to do is he needs to throw Rum off and pick a. He says part of the Star Wars documentary series, he wants to pick something from Caravan of Courage.
Mm-hmm.
But God, yeah. Well, in fairness, poor Chris gets told he's short as an Ewok, whereas Luke Reynolds tells everyone that I'm 3 foot stood on a box and calls me Action Pop Jawa. I'm 5'9", man. I'm average height. I'm an inch taller than average height.
On that note, I think I'm going to end this stream.
Excellent, because I am absolutely bust. You don't need to say I'm busting for a wee anyway. So,
but I like to say thanks to yourself, Nick, for popping on for a bit, and same to Rory, and all the best.
Yeah.
In the next few months, hopefully you'll hit your 1,000 before Christmas. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
But it's like I say, man, everybody's always welcome to come back on. So you never know. Rory might be a future guest if he's not busy.
I tell you, I can't wait to check out your stuff, Rory. And if you do a live stream, if you do one on any live stream, I'll watch. I'll support anyone. But if you do one on Mighty Morphin, mate, I can't wait. That is up there.
Yeah, I say go and check out Rory Shadow Wiz, man. Productions, man. He does do a lot of good stuff. Some of his shorts are funny as well.
No.
Especially the recent one he did with the Kamen Rider driver, the knockoff one. I couldn't
Oh,
stop
the
laughing
bootleg
at that.
Buccaneer. Oh, damn.
But no,
Yeah.
we'll call it a night before Nick pishes himself, as we say. Don't know having an accident. So until the next time, everyone stay safe and catch you on the dark side.